the new New York City mayor, Mayor Adams.
Yeah.
He's very excited to tell people that he doesn't eat meat. He's I think he said he's vegetarian or vegan or one
I can
of
tell.
those. Yeah. Well, he's made a lot of promises, and then I was excited because I thought that he understood Bitcoin, and then all of a sudden started talking about banning Bitcoin mining, and I said I don't think you understand at all. The part that absolutely just sent me over the edge was they're trying to remove meat from the children's diets in the schools. So it's not even just saying like, it's one thing if you say, hey, protein's important. Let's not eat steak. Instead, we're going to eat chicken, or we're going to eat, even crickets, right? Yeah. Frankly, okay. But just this whole washing of like protein essentially from the diets, and meatless Mondays, and coming up with all these like crazy things. Yeah. It just falls back to like, just leave the kids the fuck alone. Yeah, exactly. Right? And so what do you take as to politicians stepping in and implementing these kind of wide sweeping changes to the diet inside of public schools?
It's going to be kind of a long answer, but I'll give it a reflection as a child in the middle of Texas. We used to, at one point in time, they did feed us soy burgers back in the 70s. Well, that soy was different then. Okay, it was probably a little bit healthier. It was probably good, to go ahead and use the school system and basically provide kids that weren't getting good protein. That was a supplement. Okay, so be it. It's a subsidized supplement that had validity, and that was in the 1970s. Okay, you look at it now and everything. Let's look at the health of a freaking nation right now, where our kids are ages 5 to 11 now. 46% of them are obese or overweight.
It's crazy.
1 out of 2 is going to diabetes or already has diabetes. That's the health of our kids in this nation. That is a fucking genocide. And if people do not start understanding that, we're going to kill our kids in a way that we don't see, but we're going to let these stupid politicians do it. That's where we say no more.
And when we think about this, it feels like the kids,
they're helpless.
Yeah, they don't know any better, right?
No.
They go to school, and whatever they're fed, it's a belief that the teacher or the cafeteria manager or the chef or whatever, they're just here to look out for me. Like I live in a safe world, right? And unfortunately, there's kids who go to school, and that is the most dense and supposed to be most nutritious meal that they're going to get all day. Yeah. And that's where I think it just goes back to like, just leave the kids alone.
Exactly. And actually, that should be the first thing that all of us as adults, responsible people, parents, we're all parents or going to be parents, probably a high percentage. We can look at ourselves and say, okay, but what we have to do is we have to get right. It's like, I talked to a lot of doctors, and I said, where do we start with the education with our parents? And Dr. Mary Kerr, she spoke at one of our conferences. She said that we have to treat it like we're on an airplane, okay, that the oxygen masks come down. We got to put the oxygen masks on ourselves first. And then once we understand what we're up against, what politicians like Jackass is doing in New York, then we can look at the solutions in which we can basically get around of. And so you look at the school programs. I'll give you an example. Coming from Texas, I love ranches, but you have a ranch out there, and it's the 4 Sixes. It used to be one of the biggest ranches in the world. Okay. Well, what they did, they have a certain county out there, okay, and I believe it's Guthrie County, all right? In Guthrie County, Texas, with the 4 Sixes, it was basically the whole county. It's the county square, it's the town. They took over the kids' food programs. It was all from the ranch. They gave the food program to the ranch. That ranch was able to get that school system, that independent school system. They improved attendance, health, everything across the board improved because that local community fed their local independent school district. Okay, now let's look at what they're doing in New York. And before he made those announcements, I believe it was at the beginning of the year, I think February or March, and we're talking about one of the bills that, the administration passed. And I said, watch out, they're going to come after the food systems for the school systems. That in New York is exactly what they're doing. Yeah. They're injecting these new fake commodity ideas, and then they'll inject it into the food system of our children.
Governor Abbott has taken a bunch of migrants and bust them to New York. I'm surprised that you guys aren't sending some meat up there as well as a way to kind of drop off.
Like I said, we're about to feed a nation again.
Yeah. Hey, you, did you like this video? Great. Make sure you subscribe, like the video, and see you next time.